Welcome to Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is a really good kickoff chapter because we're going to talk about communication. Here are some of the ideas that we will cover as far as the key ideas. And again, no substitute for reading the chapter. That is key that you do that to really ingrain that in you so you understand it and can make application of the lessons. Human communication is every point of contact, vision, hearing, speech, the way we dress, nonverbal communication, all of them play a part in what we say, quote unquote. So it's a fascinating subject, to say the least, and one that you'd be wise to pay attention to in your career. So here it is. I'll just read you this quick definition. Human communication is a dynamic process, meaning it changes, in which people attempt to share their thoughts with other people through the use of symbols in particular settings for a goal, for a purpose. Remember, we're talking business now. We communicate for a reason. Now, the reason might be just pleasurable, to build relationships, but those are reasons. So please understand that whatever you do, even if you don't say anything, you're communicating. And that's a key element that we oftentimes forget. So what you wear, your posture, gestures, all those things communicate, and they have cultural impact. Oops, got a little ahead of myself, so we define that. Uses of communication, they are as varied as there are words in the dictionary. But the key to remember, I think, is in a business sense especially, everything we do communicates. And even if we're just sitting there quietly with our hands folded, we're communicating something. Our body language communicates. So please be aware of that. What you wear communicates. I can't stress that enough in a business sense. Persuasion, that's probably the top of the list when we're trying to persuade someone. Now, this is elements that you've probably seen in other books, and there's a myriad of different models that graphically that can show you this. But there's a source. Where is it coming from? Well, the source is the sender, and they will encode the message or make it understandable given who the receiver is of the message. So the important thing as a sender, as a communicator, is to understand your audience and who they are, which will dictate then the content of the message, the channel, the words you use, the media that you use, whether it's email or face-to-face or however, or written form. But the responsibility lies with the sender as far as the shape of the message, the form it takes. Now, the receiver, especially in a business sense, has the obligation to attempt to understand. Now, if they don't, they should be wise enough or instructed to give feedback, and that's what you want. Noise is any distraction that we have to overcome. So this is a classic model. So characteristics, time, location, number of participants, all these things, there are so many variables involved. So the more you can control the variables, those things that add noise to the channel of communication, the better off you're going to be. That and understanding to whom are you communicating. And then define your goals. What do I want them to know or do after they read it, hear it, see it, experience it, and so on. Communication is a learned behavior without a doubt. There's also some genetic elements in that. Women tend to say more in a given day than men do. Like I've read up to 30% more. They use 30% more words in a given day. Men will just run out of, for myself, I get home at the end of the night, I'm done sometimes. I don't want to talk anymore. I don't want to interact. I'm just done. My wife, however, has an extra fuel tank in that sense. And I just have to say sometimes, you know what, I'm done. You talk to me tomorrow, but I've used up all my allotment of words for today. Culture, we talked about this in Chapter 1. It is a learned behavior. Okay? Learned behavior. There's nothing sacred about it, especially in a business sense. It's fun to understand. It's fun to learn about, but it is a learned behavior and the product of environment and a lot of history and a lot of different things. It functions to give us a framework for behavior and activity. The things that most influence our habits, and that's what culture is: religion, history, values, and especially those that come from our family. That's probably the biggest one: our friends, acquaintances, and so on. It is learned in many different ways. We absorb it in literature, movies, music, all sorts of ways. Some are better than others, obviously. They get passed along because we pass things along. If you loved, or if your dad was a Chevy man, you probably like Chevys. If he was a Ford guy, you probably like Fords. That's a learned behavior. How you interact with people in business world or in a social context are heavily influenced by the way you were brought up. It is dynamic. You might have to relearn or unlearn some things given the environment that you're pushed into. And that's a responsibility of yourself as an employee and an employer, and as someone that's going into a new culture. And that culture might be as simple as an organizational culture and not as great as if you're going to move to Europe and work. It is very dynamic. It's government, everything's a reflection of habits, culture, and they do change over time. So be a student of culture and attempt to get the best elements of other cultures incorporated in yours. So if there's anything that makes you better, faster, quicker, learn it, borrow it, do whatever you need to, but make it your own. And it is an integrated system without a doubt. Food's an expression of culture, habits. Like I said in the earlier lecture, if you eat turkey at Thanksgiving, that's part of your culture. Okay. Now, as you do the assignments for week 1, make sure you read the directions carefully. Make sure you study, you read the chapters, you listen to these, you do your background research as necessary, and then fully answer the questions. And again, follow the directions carefully. Thank you very much.